So Roe v. Wade was overturned. We know this already. It's been a few days. I just want to throw out a little bit of an idea, thought. Uh, the fact that we outsource so much to government entities is a problem. And I think that we're finally starting to see that. Uh, this is not a bipartisan issue. It is a cop out to say it's Republicans, it's men, when women make up a large portion, actually the largest percentage of the voting population. And largely, white women vote against women's best interest when it comes to these situations. So it's not just men, and it's mostly probably not even the men in your lives. So I don't think we should take this opportunity to become man bashing and to say it's just it's the men doing this, because it's not all of them. They're not the ones calling the shots and making the laws. Like that's the average man, or maybe like the average man I hang out with. I don't know. They're not a part of this problem. And so I think that we should take some pause and not deepen the enmity between the sexes, because it's pointless. We need to be building stronger community foundations, because then it wouldn't matter what the law said, because we would know each other and we would take care of each other. It's good. And the truth is, regardless of liberalism and all of the different sects of on the spectrum of gender and where people fall on it, the fact is that there are only two sexes. And so we do not need enmity between that. So anyone who is identifying as whatever or whatever or whatever, you're still going to fall under one sex or the other. So for us to be clashing and factioned in so many ways that are actually so inconsequential to our day-to-day lives and to our communities as a whole, to get caught up on that division is ridiculous. I was having a conversation with my boyfriend, and he had mentioned that, like, for some reason the Democrats just keep on losing. They're a losing team, and it's really unfortunate that our side, I don't identify as a liberal or a conservative. I'm a free thinking individual who looks at shit and looks at patterns and thinks about what's in humanity's best interest according to my perspectives, because that's the only perspective that I have. As much as I can pride myself on being able to step in someone else's shoes and transcend and kind of look at different perspectives, and I am really good at that, I still only have my perspective. There's still that filter that is just Talia. So I don't want to act like that's not a thing. It is. There is a bias. There's always a bias. Check out part 3 if you want to hear the rest of what I got to say. I want to revisit a little bit what I was saying about there only being two sexes. Of course, I understand. My background is in psychology. I've studied human sexuality at length for the majority of my life. Since I was probably around like 10 years old, I've been reading about sexuality, because that is something that I'm very attuned to, interested in, and I think that it is a very powerful thing to understand. Of course, there's intersex people. That is a very, very small percentage of the global population. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't be accounted for. Of course they should. But when we're talking about world building and society building, we are looking at generalities. And the truth is that it takes an egg and a sperm and a womb to make another human being, period. Even if science gets to the point where we can go whip that up to some GMO baby, it's still a perversion and a replication of a natural system that occurs. I'm not debating that. So in order for there to be community, we need to have concert. We need to be cohesive. So I really want to get to the root of where we decided that we did not need each other, that men and women did not need each other, that the masculine and the feminine energies did not need to intermingle for this life thing to occur. When did that get confusing? When? And see, do you see how much time it takes to have to tap dance around these hypersensitivities? It muddles the point. And it seems like we are hell-bent on band-aiding and treating symptoms instead of looking at root issues. And it makes it very difficult to get to the root of things when you have to start saying, oh, but not all, oh, but not all, oh, but not all, oh, but not this. And you start pointing out all these little caveats. There's statistics for a reason. There's a bell curve for a reason. There's always outliers. And the thing is that people who are educated understand this. It is people who are only operating out of their wounds and out of their emotional body who cannot receive messages. So I grew up actually watching a lot of diverse things, but I went to school primarily with white people. My school was 4% colored, 4% black or whatever. And if every time I read something or encountered a story, I was unable to receive the universal themes because the people didn't look just like me, or weren't sexually oriented just like me, or didn't have hair just like me, or if I was that hypersensitive, I would be an idiot. I would be able to absorb nothing. And that's what we are right now. That's what we are. I'm not saying not to honor yourself. I'm saying honor yourself. And the point that I'm trying to make is that the government, we outsource too much to the government, to policy, to legislation. We put too much of our lives in the hands of other people who know nothing about our lifestyles, who are so out of touch. The fact that when there's a campaign year or it's time for re-election for some office, they come into this city and you start to see them. They descend from on high to come and mingle with the commoners. That's a quote from Lion King, and if you knew that, then you are fucking dope. But yeah, it's come on. Come on. Why don't we fuck with each other? We're so caught up on the minutia, and it is time for that to stop. Because the biggest threat is that we don't fuck with each other. We don't fuck with each other because of sexual orientation. We don't fuck with each other because of how people want to express themselves in a way that is inconsequential to anyone else's day-to-day life, because of someone's race, because of someone's socioeconomic status, because of this, because of that, because of this. These little stupid things that don't even matter and aren't making our lives better. It's just making us be able to scream louder. Who's the loudest? Who's the most wounded, and who is the least responsible for their situation and staying in it? Don't you think that it's strange that you can make a baby with someone? One of the most intimate things that you can do. You're literally whipping up another human being with another person, right? That the government can say, actually, we don't like the way that you're taking care of your child. We're going to take them. The fact that someone can take something that you literally birthed, and that we're just all okay with that because we want to say, oh, they shouldn't be doing this and they shouldn't be doing that. Well, has our government proven that they will take care of those children any better? No. And let those children be of color? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But the fact that we're just okay with that, with those protocols, because we don't want to take any responsibility for ourselves, for our communities. And I do agree. I think that every woman should have the choice. But then from another perspective, as a man, if I were a man and I were with my lady, my partner, right? And she didn't want to have a baby and we weren't ready for it, I'd be damned if another man sitting up in some old decrepit man who couldn't beat my ass is telling me what my family has to look like and what I have to be ready for. How are you guys not incensed? This is not just a woman's issue. This is a human issue. This is a community issue. And when we make it a woman's issue solely, that is divisive. All of that to really just say this. What is it going to take for us to really fuck with each other? Not agree with all of our choices, not celebrate everything. I don't celebrate your sexuality. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're a lesbian. I don't care if you're pansexual. I don't care if you're demisexual. That is your business. That is your business. Unless I'm trying to engage with you sexually or have a relationship with you, that is inconsequential to me. These little things that we get caught up on. I don't care if you're white and you don't like black people. As long as you don't have the right to infiltrate my life and make it hell, I don't give a fuck. You don't have to like me. You don't have to celebrate me. I don't care. I will find people who do, and I celebrate myself. And I really hope that for more of us, because I think that the more we truly get empowered, because whatever this shit is that they're calling empowerment is not empowerment. It is not. It is sycophantic. It's narcissistic. It's narrow-minded, masquerading as something else. I understand we all have this angst, and now everybody wants to get their shit off, and everybody's like, no one's gonna disrespect me. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get where it comes from. But the expression of it, for I think what the goal is definitely being redirected by social engineering. And I want us to look at that and look at each other. And if I don't agree with you, so what? But the fuck, you're in my community, and we need to work together. And I know that I'm really probably not supposed to say this, but I do think that we should be way more picky about who we let up in our pussies. I thought that a long time ago. Not my job to dictate or to be uh, the disciplinarian or to give you consequences for it. That's none of my business. But I will say that it only took me one pregnancy scare to be like, oh no, I'm never having sex with a dude who I don't think would take care of me and a child if that were to be the result. I always wondered why, if all these white women aren't racists, then how do they keep on birthing all these racist white men who I guess are the only racists in our country? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if you're a little bit more judicious with your pussy, then, whatever. And yes, of course, it's the other person too. It takes two to make, we already did that. But if you have the pussy, you're the gatekeeper of the pussy. And so if you're letting all these lame ass niggas fuck you, when I say lame ass niggas, I'm talking about niggas as in men. Because I call men niggas. Come on. This is simple stuff. And those are my thoughts on that. More to come, I'm sure. That was kind of all over the place, but I think I said what I wanted to say. And what do you think? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.